The United States is leading the way. We provided Ukraine with nearly $7 billion in security assistance since I took office. The next few days, we intend to announce more than $800 million more, including new advanced Western air defense systems for Ukraine, more artillery and ammunition, counter battery radars, additional ammunition for the HIMARS multiple launch rocket systems we've already given.
Interesting. It's also important to note here that the U.S. government, through the Federal Reserve, literally prints money out of thin air. They have already done so in huge ways that are impacting you every single day, and still, with all the money in the world, they're acting stingy with it, only giving it to their friends. Disgusting. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. This is Luke Radowski here of WeAreChange.org, and holy cow, do we have some reality-shattering, crazy, insane, human-sacrificing news to get into today, as of course CERN is going to be turned on in just a few moments from now. This, as we have a major Biden administration member and a former member of BlackRock telling you that the pain that you're feeling financially as you're being gutted, as you're being looted, as you're being robbed by fiscal policies that this administration put in place, well, they're all worth it for a, quote, liberal world order, are they? Well, we're going to talk about that, plus a lot more, as well as how the billionaires are even up in arms, and they're pissed at the Biden administration. What's going on here? Well, we're going to be talking about that, plus a lot more, all on this independent media organization, and there's so much to get into. We're just going to jump right into it. As I think it's important to note, the world's biggest particle accelerator will be fired up again, specifically on July 5th, 2022, just a few moments from now, as scientists are allegedly looking for the mysteries of the universe, trying to start up the Higgs boson, which they're calling the God particle, as of course many scientists have warned about the potential dangerous consequences of all of this, which has some people warning about a potential doomsday. This, as the European Organization for Nuclear Research is, quote, going to be celebrating their 10th anniversary by literally restarting this Large Hadron Collider. This is also the same organization that, by the way, staged a human sacrifice at their, quote, research facility. There was also a lot of strange ceremonies and rituals, lots of occultic symbology, especially since the last time that the CERN Hadron Collider was turned on, which was right before the 2016 presidential elections. This is why some people speculate and theorize that there was a rift in reality, which allowed Donald Trump to become president of the United States. But scientists looking for the God particle, staging human sacrifices, all stinks to high heaven, in my opinion, and I definitely think larger scientific experiments like this need to have more transparency, need to have a lot more accountability, especially with such grandiose possibilities unfolding from this. Regardless, we're going to be keeping a very close eye on this particular story. I mean, again, how many hooded figures do we need to see? How many rituals, how many human sacrifices do we have to stage for people to go like, hey, maybe we shouldn't give all this power, money, and all of our trust into these individuals. Now, whether this was a prank or something real, or we have to understand that these rituals usually do happen at places like the Bohemian Grove and other secret societies, where some of the world's most powerful individuals participate in a lot of these weird ceremonies and rituals. And as technology becomes more advanced, it gives a few people the select authority and power to have almost god-like dominion over everyone else. You could say this especially when it comes to quantum computing, artificial intelligence, and also the latest algorithms that now, according to Bloomberg News, could predict crimes in major American cities up to 90% accuracy. Yes, there is a new algorithm that was created by social scientists at the University of Chicago that touts a 90% accuracy when it comes to predicting the crime that will happen in major urban areas. How will this data be used, especially with the potential of using pre-crime? How fast will we see new technology rolled out to the streets of Chicago like the ones we saw in fictional movies like The Minority Report? Well, that's an important question that I think a lot of people should be asking themselves, and sadly, we're not having a lot of those important conversations when I think we should. As of course, these algorithms, these new technological advancements are here, and of course they pose a lot of grave dangers towards constitutional liberties and freedoms that politicians love to see eroded away, as perfectly represented with the current technology that we have right now that's being used to go after individuals like Bodega Bro for simply complaining that there aren't any kind of real grocery stores with vegetable, fruits, and fresh meats available in the Bronx. You complain about that, you're going to lose your job, as of course there's going to be people complaining to your employer that you're not integrating into your Great Reset, Build Back Better, big urban sprawl. Happily enough, as of course happened to Bodega Man, that, by the way, just made a very interesting video announcing that he's available to be hired after, of course, being fired for criticizing bodegas, in a video where he actually went around and fed the homeless people. So shouts out to Bodega Man. If you haven't heard about him, definitely check him out. Now, one of the main reasons why I'm skeptical of a lot of these godlike technological advancements that will, of course, have grave consequences on our everyday lives and destroy human freedoms is because of who will be controlling and who is developing these technologies, and that, of course, is the individuals on the Ghislaine Maxwell client list that are still in power, still in authority, and have yet to be held accountable for their horrible, destructive, nasty actions that they have committed against the most innocent in our society. This, as today we're finding out that the Prince of the Queen in the United Kingdom gave unrestricted access to Miss Maxwell and Mr. Epstein at Buckingham Palace, showing once again clear connections to the royal family and individuals who hurt children in unspeakable ways. Again, this is not the first time the royal family has been tied into nasty human beings. There is many times that this has happened, too many to call a coincidence, and sadly, a lot of the people in our political and media institutions are too scared to even call it out. One person who's not scared is, of course, the current UFC middleweight champion Israel Adesanya, that just had a major victory in yesterday's major pay-per-view. Right before the event, he had this to say about this entire saga, and at least he's one of the few individuals that still has a backbone in our society and is willing to call out the wrongs of the very powerful people who influence it.
Ghislaine Maxwell just got put away for 20 years. So she was supplying kids for all these shows, right? Where's the list? Is that just gets like, I don't know.
Kind of weird that got no coverage, but Johnny Depp and Amber was
everywhere. Yeah, and I'm like, so the list of, you know, politicians and actresses and actors or whatever that they talked about, does that get swept under the rug? Do they not get any time for actual those kids? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, that's weird that how that just doesn't compute with me.
And this is in part why we started Epstein.com. Yes, that's an official website that will take you to our original store, where you could see the plethora of shirts that you could still get and wear in the general public and express these larger political ideas which cannot be censored out there. One of the best ways to get it active, to get engaged right now in your local communities, in your local neighborhoods, is of course to simply just wear a t-shirt. This is an issue that bridges the gap between the left and the right, and no matter where you are politically, I think there's an overabundance of individuals saying, hey, enough is enough. This is crazy. This is insane. I don't care where you stand politically. This is a key important issue that we need to talk about, since, of course, it implicates almost everybody in our current power establishment. And that's why you should go to Epstein.com or just check out our regular t-shirt store, thebestpoliticalshirts.com, where we have been releasing a lot of new shirts that are only available exclusively on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. One of the ones that we have available is the one I'm wearing right now that says Freedom Super Spreader, which is great for the 4th of July. Someone asked me if I was contagious as I was walking around yesterday here in the great state of New Hampshire. Beautiful and amazing place. I got a lot more to say about that. I'll save that for later. But a lot of Freedom Super Spreaders here, and you could be one as well just by simply getting a t-shirt on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. Get them before they're censored, since some of these have been literally put out. So get them while supplies last on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. Now, this past Thursday, the Biden administration officially made a very eye-opening statement, which I think the New York Post perfectly represented on their cover this Saturday, with a picture of Joe Biden looking haggard and confused as ever, dressed up as Uncle Sam with a fuel pump pointed directly at you saying, quote, I want you to pay higher gas prices, as Biden's economic advisor came out on CNN this Thursday, Brian Dees, and said publicly that U.S. families should suffer high gas prices in order to, quote, protect the liberal world order. Statements that, of course, trended shortly after on Twitter, but this is a direct response after CNN asked him, quote, what do you say to those families that say, listen, we can't afford to pay $4.85 a gallon for months, if not years. This is, of course, a major cabinet member of the Biden administration that was the global head of sustainable investment at BlackRock, a major connected establishment government company that, of course, is gobbling up everything while everyone is just suffering to survive. He, of course, went to Yale, Harvard, lived an extremely privileged life out of the basic reality of everyone else that's struggling financially, as, of course, the super rich are telling you the price you're paying right now is absolutely worth it for their political gains and aspirations. You suffering, you barely making ends meet, their New World Order. Their New World Order is, of course, going to be prioritized, and you will have to pay the pound of flesh. You will have to give your blood, sweat, and tears. You will have to sacrifice so the super rich could continue their, quote, liberal world order. Absolutely out of touch comments, as of course the pain and havoc created by this administration, by their cronies at BlackRock, have been destroying the fabric of life for many human beings, innocent human beings, the poorest amongst us, that are being taken advantage of by these politicians that are making the situation that much worse for you. Now, of course, this BlackRock shill working at the Biden administration also said that the president and his administration is, quote, doing everything in their power to blunt those price increases and, quote, bring those prices down, and that's an absolute lie. This administration has time and time again said that this transition that they're forcing everyone through is worth the price of high gas. They praised this transition. They have created economic moves within this administration that have stopped the domestic energy exploration and production here domestically, which would ease prices of energy, which would ease prices of everything else. When we look at the price of everything going up, it's directly correlated with the price of energy, with the price of gas going up. Why is it going up? Because there's not enough. The Middle Eastern countries, along with Russia, are profiting off of high gas prices. This, as the Biden administration just moments ago, not so long ago, canceled oil and gas leases in Alaska and the Gulf of Mexico, preventing companies from producing it domestically, while, of course, depending in on Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia, mass producing it, shipping it here for a premium at cost. Greta Thunberg and all the green climate change environmentalists approve of that policy because we're not doing it here in the United States. We're just making the Middle East do it. And again, that policy is absolutely nonsensical. It's ridiculous. We're dealing with an energy crisis. We're dealing with a financial crisis, which could be alleviated if it wasn't for the federal government standing in the way, deliberately making this situation that much worse. And this situation is being made that much worse, admittedly, by this administration that is cheering on how great all of this is. It's also important to note here that Germany also has implemented very similar policies. They have shut down their nuclear facilities, even though they provide a lot of clean energy. Germany just found 2.3 trillion cubic meters of natural gas stored in its shale rock, enough to last them for over 20 plus years, but they refuse to use it. Electricity rates in Germany went up 6 times. Imagine electricity energy going up 6 times than usual. That means the price of consumer goods will go up 6 times as much. This, as people in Germany are preparing for a major energy crisis, as of course wood-burning stoves, dry firewood, have sold out completely, and this is during the beginning of the summer months. Imagine what's going to happen when winter hits. And all of this, a part of course, the Build Back Better, Great Reset policies that, of course, are being promoted, touted, and pushed on and shoved down your throat by the billionaire globalist elites that, of course, are profiting off of these moves. Who benefits off of this? Well, individuals like Bill Gates. Bill Gates, that was, by the way, just granted legal authority to buy another 2,100 acres in North Dakota, despite breaking local rules and protests from local residents, as of course the billionaires are buying up land or buying out houses in record numbers. Barack Obama has a lot of beachfront properties in Martha's Vineyard in Hawaii. This, as of course he's warning about the sea levels rising. Yeah, hilarious. To the point where even other billionaires that were enriched by this current system are complaining about what's happening right now, as even Jeff Bezos has blasted Biden for making this situation that much worse for everyone. And I don't agree much with Jeff Bezos, but him calling out this administration is very interesting. This, as of course, things are only going to get a lot worse before they get any better. If you remember, before 2.5 years ago, I specifically, even years before that, but specifically 2.5 years ago, I came out and I said, holy cow, hang on to your bootstraps because things are about to get crazy financially. Warning specifically that the larger consequences will be coming in months, in years, and here we are, 2.5 years later, in a situation that is absolutely unbearable for the majority of people, and it looks like this is just the beginning of the financial havoc coming our way. Hope you guys are prepared. Hope you guys are making the right moves. We talk a lot about this on LukeUncensored.com. Don't Epstein yourself. Things are bad, but they're only as bad as you make them out to be. There's, of course, a lot of crazy change happening in our system. You could be affected by it in a negative way. You could be affected by it in a positive way. It all matters about the important personal decisions that you make in your life. And hey, we can at least say that things aren't boring, to say the least. That's my perspective. That's what I thought. These are my opinions. If you disagreed with them, let me know why down in the comment section below. I always appreciate different perspectives. If you agreed with them and if you thought I did a good job at presenting you all the crazy-ish happening in our world right now, share this video with your friends and family members. It is more imperative than ever that you do. And because you do, I'm still able to be here. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. And this is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for a lot more here on Epstein.com.